We are in the autobus station here in Montreal in order to go to New York. For this journey, I will be taking the Greyhound Company. The journey cost me around $237 round trip after I took it really last minute. Indeed, I was uncertain to go because of another COVID surge and borders restrictions. You can sit wherever you wish in the bus. We arrive at the border quite fast, in 45 minutes. You have to get out of the bus for the officers to check your papers. You'll find a list of documents you have to prepare for on the US government website. Check it well before leaving as information keep on changing. 7 hours later, we reach New York Port Authority bus terminal. I'm in New York. Yeah! I am craving donuts. They are my all-time favorite. First stop in New York, Dunkin' Donuts for breakfast. Port Authority bus terminal is located straight at New York Midtown, which is convenient. I am not staying at the hotel during my stay as I'm visiting a friend. Nevertheless, you will have many options to choose from in New York. It is known as the city that never sleeps, but also under the name of Big Apple. This nickname was first popularized in the 20s by John Fitzgerald. His popularity since the 70s is due in part to a promotional campaign by the New York tourist authorities to change New York's reputation as a dangerous city. You can get a bit overwhelmed in New York with the heights of the buildings actually. Like it's so huge and you feel so tiny. It's like wow. I'll start my visit by Grand Central Terminal. We are right now in Grand Central, one of the most famous train stations here in New York. Opened in 1913, it is an iconic place in New York. It serves some 67 million passengers a year. In the morning rush hour, a train arrives at the terminal every 68 seconds. You must for sure have seen it in many movies and cartoons such as Madagascar, The Avengers, or Gossip Girl. Now, let's continue our tour. There are many tracks around the city. You have to know that we are in the surge of the pandemic again thanks to the Omicron variant. Therefore, in New York, they organize a real system when you can get tested in the street really fast and for free. And you have like different companies that are doing it. You just have like to come here and you have a QR code to scan and you can just like fill everything. Apparently, it works for the flight as well. My favorite one is at Times Square as they give a result in 48 hours. It is really easy to walk around New York because it's following a grid pattern, so you will not get lost, no worries. We are walking right now on 5th Avenue, which is one of the most famous avenues here in New York because you have like landmarks such as the Flatiron, but also, of course, the Empire State Building. I passed by the famous Empire State Building. You have several tops in New York you can choose from. As it is quite expensive to climb between $40 up to $70, I decided to do only one. I went to the edge. Unfortunately, I was unlucky with the weather. It was pouring rain. If you have a bad weather forecast, don't do like Naomi. A few blocks away, we arrive at another quintessential symbol of New York. We are in front of the Flatiron Building. Unfortunately, it is under renovation. It is called as such due to its original triangular shape that recalled an iron. Then I walked toward the vessel through the Chelsea neighborhood. We are in front of the vessel. Woo! The vessel is a soaring new landmark in New York. It just opened in 2019. New York is a dynamic city that keeps transforming with time. I visited New York 10 years ago and I noticed many changes since then, such as more black pickup Land Rovers and glass towers. It creates a beautiful architectural mix. I ended in the Hudson Yards Mall to warm up. I also decided to have a quick lunch here. I made myself some bagels from Montreal, the one at the bakery that is just near my place. So good. In fact, in winter, New York can be quite cold. Below 0 degrees easily. Right now, I'm walking on Highline Park in New York. It's amazing, so they basically converted an old railway into a park. You can walk through gardens, view art, connect with friends, and much more. I witnessed a lot of Cobra street art masterpieces. It is one of my favorite Brazilian artists. I discovered him during a past trip to Brazil in 2017. Not too far away, there is the new floating oasis called Little Island. And this is the end of the island. Now I'm going to Brooklyn in order to watch a beautiful sunset. I continue my way through Lower Manhattan by passing by the Soho neighborhood. I was rushing a bit to arrive on time. Thankfully, I arrived at my favorite time of the day, the golden hour. It was beautiful. Finally made it to the famous Brooklyn Bridge. It's crowded! Everybody had the same idea to come here for sunset. Little fact about Brooklyn Bridge. It was the longest suspension bridge in the world by far until 93. Dumbo neighborhood in Brooklyn holds a lot of Instagram photo points. You definitely have to come here in Brooklyn for the sunset. It's just amazing. The colors are marvelous. To get back to Manhattan Island, I made the loop through Manhattan Bridge. The view from it is also stunning. Nonetheless, it looks a bit creepy as you are next to the metro and have barricades on each side. Not to worry, it is safe even for a solo travel girl. And we are entering Chinatown. I'm right now in Chinatown and I love it so much because I feel like I'm traveling to Asia. I can hear Mandarin speakers, Cantonese, and also like you have like everything written in Mandarin. They decorate the street with lanterns. Like it's really so cute and you really feel like you're not in New York. Like seriously, it's amazing. As I've been walking all day, I allow myself to go back home by bus. There are so many songs about New York, but every time I come to New York, I have to listen to Empire State of Mind by Alice Keys. It is so cliche, but I enjoy it so much. On the way home, I made a small detour. So I think you all recognize where we are right now. We are in the famous Times Square. I ate at the famous Hard Rock Cafe. They have like a small museum inside as well. The food is okay, but nothing exceptional. And now it's time to have a good night's sleep. We are so lucky today with the weather. It's a blue sunny day, yeah! Today I ride the subway. In New York, you have a variety of options to go around. Of course, you can walk, which is kind of the easiest, but sometimes the distance may be a bit long. So you can either take the metro, it's really popular, just a bit smelly, or the bus, or also you can take taxi, like the yellow cab, the famous one, and Uber. I advise you to get a rechargeable meter card which costs $1. Each swipe costs $2.75 afterward. Otherwise, you can pay with a digital wallet. I made it to Wall Street Station to visit the 9/11 Memorial Museum. We're in front right now on where used to stand the Twin Towers. So now they created these schools in order to pay tribute. And you have like here all the names of the people that died on that really sad day. 9/11 is a tragic day in US history. It is the deadliest terrorist attack on American soil. Now I'll be going to the museum. I'm really excited to be able to see that museum because it was still under construction when I visited New York for the first time in 2011. The entrance fee cost $26. On 9/11, Al-Qaeda affiliated hijackers crashed 2 planes into the Twin Towers within minutes of each other. It caused extensive death and destruction and triggered an enormous US effort to combat terrorism. I just finished my visit of the 9/11 Memorial Museum. It is super interesting. I really recommend it. Like it's like they explain you everything that happened. You have like testimonies. You have the witnesses of the firemen, but also the people that were inside the towers. And I don't know, it's really heartbreaking. It's really the first time that I'm seeing New York with the snow. New York is really magical under the snow. Now I'm going to the Statue of Liberty. The ferry price is around $30. During the boat ride, I eat my picnic. Arrived on Liberty Island. You should not miss the museum too. I love their video that explained the construction of the statue. I truly believe that on Liberty Island you have one of the best views over the skyline of New York. Ta-da! Little fact about the Statue of Liberty, actually it was given by the French government, and it's Eiffel, the same that did the Eiffel Tower in Paris, that built a whole steel structure that is inside the Statue of Liberty. The statue had originally a brown color as it is made out of copper plate. Through oxidation and time, it slowly turned to the green color you see today. Time to get off to Ellis Island. The boat shuttles comes every 40 minutes. In the 19th century, Ellis Island welcomed more than 12 million immigrants to the US shores. Before, migrants had to undergo the inspection process to determine if they were likely to become a public charge in America. Time to go back to Manhattan Island. On the way back, we admire a beautiful sunset. It was around 4 p.m. in the winter. The statue was on fire. It is a symbol of liberty, freedom, and hope. The boat drops you in the financial district of Lower Manhattan. So we are behind the famous Bull of Wall Street because there is less people to take pictures around here. The Wall Street Bull is very touristy. In fact, he is the emblem of Wall Street and the financial district. It is also the home of the stock exchange. As I was visiting during the holiday season, you can still enjoy the Christmas decoration. You truly feel the Christmas spirit around here. And Rockefeller Center, woohoo! With the Christmas tree and everything. My last day starts pretty well with another sunshiny day. I dropped by the United Nations headquarters. Unfortunately, they were still closed for visit. Now I'm on my way to Pershing Square for breakfast. Their egg benedicts are delicious. After, I ride the metro to reach Harlem. Harlem identity is inextricably connected to the African American experience. These days, despite gentrification, it remains packed with fervent preachers and shores, soul food, eateries, and swinging jazz clubs. I roam around Central Park, one of the world's most renowned green space. It is huge. You can easily spend a day in Central Park. You will observe the horse carriers, the adopted bench, people jogging, biking, playing in the snow, benches, terrace and fountain, many sculptures, and so on. Well, I'm so happy that we managed to find the statue of Balto because I used to watch these animated movie when I was a kid and I love it so much. Balto was a sledge dog. In 1925, a deadly epidemic was posed to sweep through Nome's young people in Antarctica. The syrup could only be delivered by dog sledge. More than 20 mushers took part in the relay, facing a blizzard. I discovered only later on that the real hero was Togo. His role was left out despite covering a far greater distance than any other sledge dogs. I exit the park by the zoo. I am lucky because I could spot the sea lions show from far. Afterwards, I proceed to 32nd Street in the Koreatown. It reminds me a lot of souvenirs of Korea. Indeed, I used to live there for 4 years. Street E32 in New York is actually the Korean street where you'll find a lot of Korean barbecue and other types of restaurants, but also like beauty care products because they are really famous for that. And also some ginseng and traditional products from Korea. I also eat a bibimbap. I love New York for its diversity. Time for a Broadway musical. This afternoon I went to the Majestic Theater in order to watch one of the most famous musicals here that they have in Broadway. It's one of the long-lasting musicals that they have. It's called The Phantom of the Opera. Dun, dun, dun. It is actually super nice. Like, the show is incredible, the music, the characters, the play, the costumes, everything. And it's starting again! Then I was hungry. I could not leave New York without eating a slice of pizza. You really have pizza shops everywhere. Making my true American. This is how my trip ended. Anyway, explore surroundings. Bisous bisous!